Welcome to JB1. It is a new show. I have wavered back and forth about doing this because honestly, times are crazy. Times are scary. Times are weird. But I feel like some voices have to be heard. And it's kind of like therapy, just to get everything out in the open. Sometimes what you say can have an impact on somebody. And I think right now, especially, the things that people with a mic, I'm going to be hypocritical here. Some of these podcast bros, some of these, people that just grabbed a mic and got super famous. The Destinies of the world, the David Pacmans, the Candace Owens, the Nick Fuentes. Some of these people that have just grabbed mics and, have gotten popular and ran with it. And some things you hear are dangerous. You may hear something on this that you deem to be dangerous. I don't think anything I say is going to be dangerous, but I do have some things to say. Going to be a lot of breathing. When I rant, I tend to breathe. The mic tends to pick me up when I rant and breathe. But anyway, so let's get some things out in the open. How do I vote? I vote Democrat. Am I proud of it? No. No, and for that matter, I think that most of us should not be, or all of us should not be proud of our vote. It really is. I hate to use the term the lesser of two evils, but we feel that way. And I live in a 76% red area, and I get that a lot. Like today I voted for the lesser of two evils. Now this person, I live in a 3/4 Trumpian area. So this person was obviously saying the lesser of two evils was Trump. I don't agree with that. But that's not to say that both sides aren't completely corrupt. I mean, you've got the lobbyists and corporations interfering, paying money. Money influences everything. Everything in politics has been for a long time mostly about money and power. Are there outliers? Of course there are outliers. Of course there are people that actually want real change, but we don't often get to see who those people are because there's the whole unison thing. The only thing about this country right now that expresses or exposes or displays unity is the fucking parties. The Democrats all band together. Hakeem Jeffries sucks. Like, he sucks. Chuck Schumer sucks. These people suck. Like, they're not strong enough to do their jobs. It's a mess. Somebody get the broom, because it's a mess. It's a mess. Both sides, total mess. But here's the thing. Anytime you want to talk about the biggest mess this country has seen, which I'm sorry if you're watching, and I'm going to try to talk out of both sides of my mouth, it is this administration. It is Trump. That is the biggest fucking mess I've ever seen in my life. Somehow we went from being completely against government, right? Like, don't tread on me. Government sucks. Big government sucks. They all suck to, well, now we love them. Not we as in me, but like people love fucking Donald Trump, a reality television guy, one of the grossest bastards we've ever seen. Disgusting in every single way. That is not to say that the last administration and stuff there's disgusting aspects there too. Joe Biden should have dropped out of the race long before he dropped out, but ego and power and Democrats and partying together, they need to quit that shit. All of them. This whole stick with your party thing, the parties suck. The parties are the part of the mess. The Democrat Party is a huge reason as to why we're in this fucking mess. It just is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And honestly, something I absolutely hate to see is when we rally around a Democratic candidate. Yes, I voted for Harris, I didn't feel like super bad about it. I would have felt, well, I did feel in 2016, I hated voting for Hillary Clinton. I absolutely hated it, but I was like, Jesus, Donald fucking Trump, are you serious? Like, if there would have been, I may have for the first time ever voted for a Republican if there was like a moderate, respectable Republican to vote for. over Hillary. I very possibly would have done it despite disagreeing with a lot of the policy, because I just, not a Hillary dude, not a Hillary dude at all, not a Democrat dude. Again, this is the thing. Like, you criticize a Trumper, a Trump voter, and they automatically go to the other side. Well, your guy, there's no guy. There's no guy, there's no gal, there's no anybody, with one exception, that I really listen to and think, this is my person. This is who I think should run this country. Like, I really have yet to see that. And to be clear, I do miss old, boring politics. So we do have, the old era of the Bushes, older Bushes. George W. was when I really started to really dislike conservatives. I think he's an okay dude. That's not to say he's like some great guy or anything like that, but he seems harmless, just a follower, and just kind of simple, which is what the problem is right now in this country, is everybody's just a follower. We all just listen to these sides talk and these sides make their argument. And we're like, yeah. No. What happened to and I hate this so much, the We the People shit, those fucking shirts and stickers and trucks and 1776, get a fucking identity. I hate that shit so bad, but we the people should be in charge, right? Like, it should be, but we've relinquished that. That's part of the problem. We have relinquished that. We're like, hey man, I just want to live in my comfort bubble. You politicians just take over. You guys do what you need to do. No, we need to speak the fuck up on both sides. Democrats, total fucking pussies. Total fucking pussies. The politicians, total fucking pussies. Republicans have just lost their fucking mind. Democrats have lost their mind to an extent. They're weak. The PC bullshit, politically correct bullshit, like Merrick Garland, the whole 9 yards. We fucked up. We fucked this whole thing up. All of us fucked the whole thing up. And it's because we got passive and we just let shit happen. And we just went to the internet and typed out what we thought. And that's not a loud enough voice these days. It's just not. Like, it's not going to work. Not going to work. But let's really dive into the problem. In my opinion, it's just my opinion. I'm not coming on here telling me I'm right, you're wrong, and the other. I do think it's highly ridiculous to support Donald Trump and what is clearly the biggest corruption. They're all corrupt that I know of. I don't trust anyone. How do you trust someone you don't know? How do you trust a politician that you've never sat down with and had extensive conversations and spent extensive time with? Granted, we don't have to trust anybody. We have to cast a vote. That's part of the fucking problem right there. We get two choices and that's it. And nobody, until Trump, has been necessarily happy with their options. For some reason, everybody's like, yay, old billionaire, fucking loves kitties. Not the purring kind. And we're just like, yay, what the fuck? Clearly awful. Clearly. Again, they're all awful. But I can't hide my disdain. Like, what the fuck were we thinking? Like, holy shit. And yeah, we haven't had a choice worth a shit in quite a while. And I don't know if we'll ever have a good choice. We're always forced in this stupid fucking system we have to pick between one of the people that the parties have picked for us. That's just, it is what it is. They picked it for us. We pretty much got to be like, I guess it's like Miracle Whip and fucking mayonnaise, man. Like, you have to choose one. What if you don't like either? And I just view the Trump administration as the Miracle Whip, which I find repulsively disgusting versus maybe someone thinks mayo is just gross. I don't think it's gross. I think it's magic. So I should have used another mustard or Grey Poupon. Both fucking disgusting. But the Trumpian shit is the Grey Poupon, which I don't like at all. Mustard, sometimes on a hot dog. That's how I feel about the Democrats. Sometimes on a hot dog, I'll vote for a Democrat. I don't know. But yeah, it's the mustards. It's the mayonnaises. Like, for people that don't like those condiments, you have to eat one. Like, fuck, this sucks. Like, and I get it. You know, we can't pick the middle thing, the catch up, which is probably independents, whatever, the Ross Perot's of the world. We can't just pick those because there's no fucking chance of them winning. So I don't know the answer on how we reform the whole system, but it needs reform. This isn't working anymore. Like, comment today, it's always red versus blue. It's not actually. It's people that give a shit about other people and people that don't give a shit about other people. It all comes to the bubble. What bubble do you live in? And is everything okay in your bubble? Even though the bubbles are bursting everywhere else, is your bubble okay? And a lot of people, sadly, human nature, only give a fuck about their bubble. They don't give a fuck about any other bubble. Not Palestinian bubbles, not fucking people that are being raided by ICE that just look and talk and, you know, sound a little different than us fucking white people in the bubble. We don't give a fuck. It's about our bubble. Fuck all the other bubbles. It's just our bubble. And that sucks. That sucks. That's not going to work forever. And history has proven time and time again that it's not going to work forever. It's always going to end in wars and famine and genocide and starvation and children dying until somehow we get our shit together. I don't know if it'll ever happen. It's certainly going to happen with us just sitting in our bubble saying, well, Trump's the lesser of two evils. I'm not sure you could elect anyone worse right now. I'm sure you probably could, but it'd be a good competition. It would be a good competition. And the reason I say that is one person has decided to pull all the right strings. I'm not going to say he's a total moron. Like, he's mostly a moron, but there's a lot of morons that know corruption and that know manipulation. And he's one of them. He is a pretty damn good manipulator. He knew exactly, or somebody told him exactly, how to get all this done. Religion. Super easy. America, we think that we're the holiest and just God's chosen country. You know, God, the white guy, his son Jesus, the white guy from like Nebraska, you know, that Jesus that loves this country more than all the others. What? What the fuck is, what? How? What? Think about it for just a fucking minute. You really think that God or Jesus has a favorite country? Or maybe you just believe the "In God We Trust" thing on the dollar. Or maybe you just listen to too many songs with "God Bless America." Maybe you just fall prey to American propaganda. It's not to say I hate this country. Like, there are worse countries. There are countries where shit is happening. We need to worry about them too. People like to say worry about our own, worry about America, America first. Da, 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 da. How about fucking humanity first? How about humanity first? How about we open our eyes to all the people that are dying for no reason? And how about we demand change instead of governments that, think about that, just money and power. So we enable wars to happen and we support wars that happen that make us wealthier and just safer. Have you ever put yourself in the line of fire? I know a lot of people have. I have no criticism on that on behalf of the country. But I will say right here and right now, no way I'm fighting in a war for some shit I don't truly know about. It's disguised as fighting for the right cause. You don't know that. You're doing what you're told, and you're being gullible. And for a lot of people, like, that doesn't mean I don't respect you. It is a machine. The country, the propaganda, the we're Americans, everybody else sucks. It's a machine. I'm just saying, put yourself in some other shoes. You could have been born in Palestine. You could have been born somewhere else. You could have been born any color, any race, anything. You just don't understand what it's like to be anyone else because you're not anyone else. But just think about it for a second. What if you woke up tomorrow and you were not the person from the country and the race that you were? Like, try to think about it. Try to put yourself in those shoes. Don't be so selfish. Like, why are we so selfish? Selfish fucking Americans. Just all we think about is ourselves in the bubble. Now, back to what I was talking about is how this all happened. Like, a lot of people talk about the corruption and this and that. Yeah. But, you know, as much corruption as there has been, as much money there has been in politics, like, shit really didn't go super crazy until 2016. What's the correlation there? That's when shit went wild. That's when the internet kind of hit its peak. Social media hit its peak. And you got all these rich people in the background planning. We can capitalize on this. This is fucking great. It is time to create the Hunger Games. Might be a long haul, but we can do it. We can totally create the Hunger Games. We can totally create the dystopian future of AI and this, that, and the other. Like, life imitates art, right? Like, we've seen the art part of this shit. Now there's like, art gives ideas. Art inspires. There's a bunch of rich-ass people that were inspired to fucking turn this into the Hunger Games. And there was a reality star, if you want to call him that, hey, let's fucking use this tool bag. Yeah, I don't know if that's how it went down or not. I mean, that guy loves to be on TV, so it could have just been him. Loves money, loves power. Could have just been him, and then the other people joined in. Like, fuck, this is a great opportunity to get behind this orange son of a bitch and make this happen. This is awesome. And it fucking worked, because either he knew, I don't think it was him, or someone told him, here's how you get it done, man. You weaponize religion. Weaponize their faith. Because that's the one thing everyone questions. Everyone questions, me included. I'm growing up. I'm putting on one of my favorite bands of all time, Tool, Undertow. Pop that shit in. I'm like 10, 11, 12 years old. Sounds evil as fuck, but it's rocking. It's heavy. It's hard. I'm like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. And then I'm like, oh, my church tells me this is bad. My church tells me I should turn this off. I feel bad about listening to this. Some of the things they're saying, this can't be right. You know how many Tool tapes and other tapes I snapped in half because I felt the guilt of my religion telling me it was a bad idea? I snapped a lot of Tool Undertow tapes. I really did. Until one day, a little later in my adolescence, as a teenager, I started thinking more for myself. And I thought, what if I wore a Marilyn Manson shirt to church? And I did. And guess who got fucking removed from that church? No sympathy, no empathy, no questions asked, no, just assumed to be the devil and got booted out of church. Sunday school to be exact. Like teen Sunday school to be exact, but literally asked to leave. And I was like, what if that was the only shirt I could afford? It damn near was, because I didn't grow up wealthy. But what if that was all I had? What if I got that at a thrift store and didn't know anything about it? But there were no questions asked. Just get the fuck out of my church. In softer language, of course, because fuck is a terrible word. But it's those kind of things. Like, I started to question things. And I've always had faith, just to be clear. Like, I am a person of faith, but it does not control me. Like, my faith is based on kindness. Based on what should be, the teachings of Jesus, I believe. But this administration weaponized the term Christian. And with a lot of people, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna spit the way I feel on this show. A lot of people hide behind the term Christian. They hide behind a church. And then they're shit people when they walk out of there. But that makes them feel like, I mean, think about religion as a whole. Be a shit person your whole life. Repent right before you die. If you got the time. If you die instantly, well, you're fucked. But repent right before you die. Fucking good to go. Good to go. Good to go. No, that's not the way it fucking works. I guarantee it. That is not going to be the way it works. But they weaponized faith and made a mockery out of it. Selling Bibles. Selling gold. When I was growing up, Christians were like, gold is for idols. But now gold is just everywhere in the White House. It's fucking gold. It's all gold. Fake gold at that. Some of the pictures, it's like Home Depot shit that's been spray painted. Tacky as fuck. But if you look back on Trump's mother, fuck gold shit in the background everywhere. There's some problems there. There's some issues. Undiagnosed, because, us men, we can't just go fucking talk to a therapist sometimes. So we're just undiagnosed bullshit all the time. But they weaponize that. And just saying that you're a Christian goes a long way with a lot of this country, because the fear of hell, the fear of being ungodly, the fear of being a demon, a left liberalist demon. And don't get me wrong, the left isn't all great. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not trying to make the argument that, Democrats, liberals, this, that, and great. No. Every person has deficiencies. Every single person has deficiencies, flaws. It's about how we try to work past them and try to be better every day and try to make the world a better place every day. Or we can fall victim to our flaws and victim to our deficiencies and just throw our hands up and be like, everybody's fucked up in some way. Let's just keep being fucked up. Why stop? It's like that big mistake you make. Like maybe you took a certain drug or you started drinking too heavily and you never pulled yourself out of it. Like, you can get wrapped up in that behavior, even if it's simply being unkind or, hating someone because of the way they look or talk or something like that. Like, well, I started down this path, might as well keep going. Or you could turn it around, try to do better. A lot of people have. I'm not here just to, not trying to throw shame or blame or anything like that. I'm just saying, I thought the purpose of being around other humans was to try our best to be kind and to help people. And I thought the teachings of Jesus was to help your neighbor and not judge. I really thought it was to break bread and lend a helping hand. But instead, we're calling ICE, being like, brown person, get them. They shouldn't be here. This is white land. Get them out. Get them out. What the fuck? Come on, man. There's a lot of people that have been picked up that are perfectly legal. And while I can't pretend that I know everything about immigration and open borders and this, that, and the other, you got to be pretty hateful to see someone minding their own business or walking with their children down the street and you think, they shouldn't be here. How the fuck do you know? Mind your business. Problem number 2, minding your business, staying in your lane, helping people rather than hurting people. Mind your fucking business. Back to Christianity, though. It's that easy. All this man had to say is that he loves religion. I love the Christians. He's never been able to quote a single Bible verse. Not that matters. I'm not big on that book myself, but you think it matters. You, the Trump voter, not talking to all of you out there. I'm talking to everybody that would choose to watch this. But if you are a Trump voter, you, the Trump voter, believe that and care about that and think that if it's said, then it must be. Because why would a Christian claim to be a Christian while not being a Christian? Why would I be sitting in a building with crosses all over it amongst people who are there just to be fake? It's not just to be fake. It's that they bought into the rule book of be a shitty person, ask for forgiveness. Be a shitty person, repent. Make terrible choices, go to church. Wipes the slate clean. To go to a man-made building and listen to a man who's learned how to go, yes, ha, ooh, ha, and emphasize ha, words so you can feel like ha, he's got some power ha, that you don't. None of it makes any sense, to be honest, at all. And that's not an attack on faith. I've seen a lot of people have faith, and I've seen a lot of people get pulled out of bad situations because of their faith. I've seen some people get pulled out of bad situations because of organized religion. I don't like organized religion, but I love organized religion for one of my friends that pulled him out of the depths of drugs and gave him a group because he needed to be a part of something. That's why he did drugs, because he was a part of a party circle. But then he found church. I'd much rather, him take his chances with that group than drugs and stuff and dying. Like you can still think for yourself and go to church. That's not off the table, but a lot of people just simply don't. Trump knew that. Weaponize your religion. to turn you against the demon Democrats, the demons. A lot of bad ones out there, for sure. But I don't think any of us are demons. I don't think that's a thing. Like, there's good and bad people in every single walk of life. Every country, every demographic, everything, there are bad people. There are good people. I live in a 76% red area. I know a lot of good people that voted for Trump just because they were raised that way and have never looked deep enough into it to form their own opinion. They just followed the crowd. Herd mentality. Can we hate those people for that? I don't think we should. I don't think we should at all. Just like they shouldn't hate us if we herd mentality in the opposite direction. There's a lot of people that just vote Democrat because they were raised that way and never thought for themselves. But, I mean, I think the point of thinking for yourself is to come up with, things from both sides that maybe you agree with or don't. Or maybe you don't vote. Maybe you don't care enough and don't look into it, and you just don't vote. Until something sparks in you and you're like, why the fuck are they sending soldiers into American cities? Maybe I should read up a little bit and vote. Not that it's a sure thing, because again, we're forced into voting for one of two. It could be two antichrists and we got to pick one. You know what I mean? It could be two literal goat-headed demons, and we're like, which one's nicer? Which one's, a little more lenient? Which one's a little less authoritarian? Let's go with the mayonnaise. It's not going to be perfect. I don't think we're going to make it perfect. But I think we should definitely quit fighting each other. Not in debate, because I think that's needed. I think a lot of people need to be felt to, understand the consequences of what they're doing. I think the bad thing about all this is a lot of people who have never admitted to being wrong sure as fuck aren't going to start now. So it really is just kind of one by one. One by one, getting someone to be like, okay, quit focusing on red and blue. Quit focusing on Republican and Democrat. We all have an opinion on which one is worse. But until we get out of that, nothing's going to change. And that's where they got us. And I don't know, what the exact design is on how they got us there. There could be so many blue people involved as much as red, or this, that, the other, vice versa. The point is, when can we start being not red or blue? When can we start being humans? Because red and blue failed. This experiment, so it's at the point where it's failing. And I don't think anything's really going to fix it. We can get back to a little bit of boring. Someone else could get elected on one of the sides and some of this crazy shit could go away, but there's still going to be a lot of corruption. There's still going to be a lot of money involved. And it's still going to be a power grab, and there's still going to be circles talking about things that are going to happen that you'll probably never know about. But we as people do have the ability to speak up and try to change that. We can try to change that. And I am saying that both parties need completely reformed. You remember when Bernie Sanders got super fucked over? He should have actually been the candidate in 2016. And if there is somebody that I would throw my heft behind a little more, not saying I know him or trust him or he's perfect. I trust no one I don't know. But you also have to believe the eye test and the ear test. And to me, he seemed like a pretty solid person. So I would have thrown my weight behind him. And if he would have fucked up, I'd have said, I fucked up. I was wrong. That guy's not who I thought he was. And that's really where we need to be right now, is to finally say, listen, I'm not arguing for another politician. I'm arguing against what is the worst politician I've ever seen. It's not even a politician. It's just money and power. And I think we should all be united against money and power controlling the way we live our lives. Can we stop it completely? No, we can't. But you can't get anywhere without changing somewhat. Terrible analogy, but it's like a football team. You bring in a few extra players, and you go from getting beat 30-10 every week to getting beat 30-23. You're building towards something. You're trying to get somewhere. You may not win. You may not ultimately achieve the ultimate goal, but you're holding off the worst in favor of something more hopeful. You're making progress, and we're not getting anywhere right now. There's no progress to be made. Lo and behold, like, whoever gets elected next, if there's an election, there's still going to be a shit ton of problems, even if things seem to be somewhat better. We shouldn't settle. We shouldn't just be happy if the crazy shit going on now dials back a little. That shouldn't be enough. There should be more. Again, I don't know how we get there. But I know we don't just sit back in our bubble and accept it. Have you ever seen Fred Durst thing? Imagine accepting the truth. Never mind. It's a skit. It's fun. Listen to some music. Try not to think about all this terrible shit so damn much. But it's bad right now. I mean, I think people know it's bad. I think people that don't want to admit it know it's bad. I know I talked to a couple people that are in the MAGA camp today that said they've never seen the division this bad, but they still won't say he sucks. That's the crazy part. That's when you know it's a cult for sure. Like, man, nothing about 2025 feels right. But I still got my support. Why? You know, the last 4 years didn't feel right either. Like, cost of living was high. They kept trying to tell us inflation was coming down. And I think, you know, if you believe the numbers, maybe it was overall, but that it wasn't enough to help us. So it wasn't like we were being saved, you know, and that, like, literally the past 10 years has just sucked. And now it's getting dangerous on top of sucking. That's what she said. What are we going to do? You know, what are we going to do? We need to demand change somehow. I don't know what that looks like, but if you really think things are getting better, I'd love to hear how down below. Like, what has made your life better at all? You know, at all. What has made your life better in the last 10 years? Because in my opinion, the last 10 years has been nothing but a bad reality show. And nothing has really made anything better. Last 10 years, everything's more expensive. Big money's buying up all the homes. Rent is sky high. Nobody's changed that. Nobody's really, you know, there's been little changes here to like give you glimmers of hope, but nothing's really changed. So what is it? What's gotten better? I'd like to hear down below. What has gotten better for you over the last 10 years? What has made your life better that the White House has enacted or done, that your elected politicians have done? What has gotten better? Because I cannot think of anything. Nothing at all. Let me know. JB1, first initial show. I'm sure I'll get lots of fun comments on this shit, and that's fine. Again, you know, I live amongst mostly Republicans. Most of the people I know are Republicans. My best friend, we debate and we get into arguments and we hug before he leaves. I'll never understand why he thinks the way he thinks, but he is the same with me. He doesn't understand why I think the way that I think. But again, you grow up in a place where you're told this is how we operate here. It's pretty easy to fall into that same operation. Comment down below, whether it's hateful, whether it's not. All 7 of you that watch. If 7 of you watch, I do hope to at least get 7 comments. JB1, I'll see you again shortly. And seriously, just sit down, sit back, and think about if the current state of your life is what you envisioned for yourself as you were growing up as a kid. Is this what I wanted? Is this how this is supposed to go? I'll see you next time.